So we were discussing, I think, about the job recs only till now, and we have to
Yes.
start with the job application BP. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go into that. Okay, so this is my support. Okay, so in order to create the BPs, so you know, right, we go to the related action BP and create copier link. And over here, I'll select the job application. Okay. So what happens if I have created one job application type no for my support, Workday will not allow me to create another type, another record or another BP of the same type. Like if I just select over here job application. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just copying the existing definition so that I have certain steps there in the system for me already. I can of course edit them. Okay, so I have created the BP for my organization. So this is how the job application BP looks like in view mode. Okay, let me go into the edit definition mode. So as I've told you that once the candidate completes the job application and clicks on submit, he enters the job application process. And in that process also, he's by default part of the review stage. Okay, so this is a mandatory stage and it is separated from the rest of the stages, I would say, because you could see over here, it is the initial step and we cannot remove this. Like we can remove these steps, but we cannot remove. So this is the mandatory. And this is generally taken care by the recruiters. Okay, or I would say the primary recruiter, to be honest. Because what would be the use of creating primary recruiter if you're not adding it anywhere? So yeah, primary recruiter is responsible. So what happens for each of the stages, no, review, screen, assessment, interview, reference, all of them, they lead to triggering of their sub processes as well. So once the candidate clicks on submit, okay, the job application BP will get triggered, of course, and in that it will lead to triggering of the review sub process. So let's go into the review sub BP. So again, I'll go to my support. Okay, I'll go to the related action. So we always create BP at support level. Or if it is a default definition, then it doesn't require any support. And we consultants have the access to create the default definitions as well. But during the migration recipe itself, no, when the tenant is getting set up, the foundation tenant. So during those recipes migration itself, we also get the default definitions. So that's why we don't look into it much. But if we want to create BPs for our support, so this is how we create it. So if I search for job application now, I won't be able to see it. That is because I have already created one. So Workday is not allowing me for another one. I have to look into the review candidate BP now. Okay, create copy link. Okay, so it is also again a simple one. So now one thing to be noted, for all the sub processes of these stages, no, of these stages, like the review BP, phone screen BP, assessment BP, all of them should have their last step as the decision making step. Only then the candidate would be moved forward or he would be declined. If we don't have the decision step, how the candidate would be moved forward? There won't be any step related to that, which will go to the security group. Security group could be recruiter, HR partner, manager, anybody. Okay, so yeah. So, and we have action steps which are worked delivered, and most of them are also getting visible in other substages processes as well. So we have common steps, you could say, and 2 3 customized steps. So the first one is candidate self-schedule event. So if we are using this step, it means we are asking candidate if they want to schedule any event or any meeting or anything. We are giving him this task of communicating with us if needed. Then change government identifier. So whatever data was put in related to government identifiers in the job application by the candidate, okay, or if the recruiter is creating the job application on behalf of the candidate, so if we want to change those government identifiers, so we have the option over here, and it could go to the recruiter, HR partner, and anybody. Then comes the change personal information. If there's some changes needed in the personal information of the candidate, so either the recruiter or the candidate, both of them can make the changes. Then review decision, it would come as the last step. Then comes this send endorsement request. So this concept is something related to referrals, which will come in the later part. So in referrals, what we do, the existing employee refer somebody who is outside the organization, right? And then the process will be initiated and some communication will go to that candidate, right? Whereas in endorsement, once the person gives in the job application details, no, over there he can mention that I know somebody in the company already. Okay, and then a request would go to that organization person that somebody has like mentioned that they know you in the company. So would you like to endorse that person? So in endorsement, the request is coming from the candidate, whereas in referral, it is coming from the person in the system itself. So we have a setup of 2 3 steps and different VPs where the endorsement could be done. So that is a different topic. The next step is to update the US disability status, which the candidate must have provided. Then the US veteran status, again, which could be changed as well. So a review BP itself like deals with what the data the person has given until now. If any changes needed, it could be done, or a decision could be made that, okay, we are okay with everything. It could be moved on to the next stage. Okay, now coming to the next stage, how we would know what is the next possible stage? So that would be visible over here. So in the review, if the person is in review, okay, so during the decision making step, the candidate could be moved into any one of these next possible steps. You could see here as well, possible next steps. Okay, so from review itself, the person could be moved to offer as well. He could be moved to reference check, or he could also be hired as well. Okay, so that is why job application process is a dynamic BP. There's no proper sequence. Okay, whereas the review BP, which we saw, this is a static BP. It has order A, B, C, D. Okay, now there's one question I would like to put on to you, or not right now. Let me just cover 2 3 stages, then I'll ask. So these are the possible next stages. So let's suppose if a person selects phone screen, okay, not the person, the security group selects the phone screen, then the phone screen BP or the screen BP would be triggered. Okay, now let's look into the screen BP, how it looks like. So I'll open the SUPOC again. I'll go to BP, create copy link. then screen. So they have just put in custom label, okay, with phone screen name. But actually, workday delivered is the screen stage only. Okay, so here I'm going to select screen default definition. Again, if I see, so automatically unpost. So this step is coming now. So why it is coming? So let's suppose if we include this, it means the job rec would be automatically unposted from the portals where it is currently posted right now. Okay, but it is very soon to decide that we want to unpost. I feel that during the higher BP or during the ready for higher BP, we should include this step because only then it would make sense. And during that BP only, like the candidate would be hired. So if a person is hired, only then we should unpost. So it's no sense to keep it right now. Then candidate self-schedule event. Uh, Self-schedule event, again, it is same as the previous one, that if you want any meeting or communication to be set up from candidate during the screen stage, that could be done. Then all these are same. Only different is the screen candidate. So this is again a decision-making step, okay? So from here, if this is triggered, so from screen, these are the possible next steps. And these steps will lead to triggering of those stages then. Okay, so after screen, let's suppose the person selects the assessment. Okay, now the person would be in the assessment stage. And I need to just click on OK here. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll open the Superb again and select the assess candidate. So in the assess candidate, what will happen, like this stage will lead to triggering of some assessment related steps. Okay, so here the integration could also come into picture. Like often the client includes third party system to take the assessment step, like they would be responsible for giving out the questions, for taking the answers and checking the scores, finalizing the scores and giving the proper pass or fail decision. So all those could be taken care by the third party vendor. So for that we need integration. And but if I'll check the steps of the actions once more, so we have assess candidate, then we have make assessment decision, so that will come at the end. Then take candidate assessment. So in this case, we need to attach an assessment. But currently, like we don't have the option of creating assessment in this tenant. Okay, that particular domain is suspended. I cannot even enable it. But yeah, from here, like the person could be given the assessment, like he could be given a questionnaire, a PDF or doc or whatever, and the person has to like reply or whatever. Even a link could be shared with the person, and it could say that the link will expire within these 2-3 days with the due date we can put, and the person will give in the response, and from recruiter side he would be getting, like he would be seeing the responses in a particular database for that link. That is how it could be done as well.
We can add all the steps which are allowed here. We can include all the steps, or we can pick the one we want to sign in our VP.
We can include as per our client's requirement. We don't have to include each and every step.
Okay. And one more thing, the unpost job, we only have to, excuse me, the unpost we can add any stage, or it has to be after hiring. Excuse me.
Uh, so if it is available to us, no, we can definitely add it, but it still doesn't make any sense that, let's suppose a candidate is in screen stage, okay, maybe he gets declined in the offer stage. So what will happen? That job rec would still be open. It won't be filled. So again, we have to post it. So it doesn't make sense. So let the candidate reach till ready for hire or hire. Let the hire BP get triggered. Only then we should unpost it. Only then, like, it would be sensible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So A, take assessment, assess candidate. Let us see. So I also wanted to make you see that we have integration type also available. So if you're putting this, no, it will automatically redirect to the integration team and the third party and everything, whatever we have mentioned. So yeah, but I'm removing the step and let us keep this only as a thing. Okay, so we just gone through assessment. So if from assessment, the next step selected is for interview, okay, so then this particular step will trigger. Okay, so in the interview BP, we have these best possible steps, I would say. So the first one is to schedule the interview. So in this case, the panel, the room, the location, everything would be selected. Okay, and here, let me see possible people responsible. Let me put in recruiter as well here. Then comes the second step. So it's a shared participation type step. So what will happen? This will lead to triggering of two inbox items. One will go to recruiter, one will go to the candidate. Okay, so what will happen? The candidate would provide in the feedback of how the interview went, and recruiter will make sure that, okay, the feedback has come in. It is like given to us by the candidate, and I can just submit this. So it will lead to triggering of two steps. Okay, and we can include any other security group here as well. The last step is to again make the interview decision. So if I select the action steps, so let's see what all we have. Automatically unpost, change your personal, make interview decision, we have included. We also have rate interview. Okay, so what happened? There are a lot of candidates, okay, and they will have interview, and we would like to specifically rate them so that once the interview decision would be made by the manager, no, he'll do the comparison based on those ratings, and accordingly the candidate would be moved forward or declined. So it's a good practice to include this as well. So I'll include it. Wait a minute. Schedule. Yeah, great. Okay, and let the recruiter do it. Okay, who is allowed? Employee as self. Oh, okay, that's not the right thing. Why the employee would be rating the interview? I need to check
Yes.
the BP policy. Fine. So make interview decision, rate, then schedule interview. Then schedule interview team is also specifically given, where the panels would be decided for sure here, and rest are all same. So it is going to I'll go here and check the BP policy. I'll go to BP and edit. Okay, so schedule interview, these people can do. Make interview this, change comment ID, update, send endorsement. Who can do actions on entire security group?
By action is only approve or deny. These are two options in action we have, right?
Where?
In action, we can only approve or deny.
In the action step type, you're saying?
Yeah. Okay.
We can approve, we can deny. Some of them also have send back option, some have edit option as well.
Okay. When we use to do mean we have to perform some action.
To do step, it's like a notification, okay, given in the inbox, but without any button involved. Like the person cannot do anything in Workday, but there would be an instruction given to him, like you have to now submit the water bottles to the new hires, or you have to submit the new hire orientation kit, something like that. Or like the recruiter now have to offline discuss with the candidate why he withdrawn. So like these kind of actions which a person cannot take in Workday, but those notifications are given as an inbox item only.
But we still have to define it in
Yeah.
the business.
Yes, we have to define it, and the activity for that would take place offline. I think not inside the Workday. It could occur inside the Workday also, like a to-do step could be done, like please change the contact information of the candidate. So such kind of task could be given, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the interview BP. Let me check if it is coming. Yeah, interview is also now done. And we didn't have any policy where I can edit this rate interview. Okay.
We cannot edit definition for this.
For this interview BP.
Yes.
Yeah, we can edit it definitely. So what it says that, okay, here the employee as self, is not the candidate. In this case, it is the interviewer, like who took the panels, I would say. So those are the employee as self here. Okay, now I will click on this BP and simply edit definition. So earlier I was looking at the BP policy, but it didn't have any rate interview related section. So I just went off, and this is where you can edit these steps as well.
Okay.
Okay, so now a question. Let's suppose we want the whole recruiting job application to process this particular sequence only. Like we don't want from review to reference check happen or from review to offer happen. We don't want such kind of options to be available to the recruiter or hiring manager. We want only the next possible steps to be in order, like how they are visible here. So what do you think how we can do that configuration in the job application?
In the job, when we define the job application, we have to assign these BP in a sequence, one after the other, then they follow the sequence.
How we can define that? Like this is the BP right now. If I go on to edit, where I can define it over here.
Yes, in this possible next step here.
Okay, so like what should be done? Like if I want phone screen to occur only.
Only phone screen, then you have to remove the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is highly asked by the client. We want this sequence only. We don't want a lot of information options to be given. We will only include phone screen. So when the person is making the decision from review stage to which stage he should be moved on to, only screening stage would be allowed. So in phone screen, we will only include assessment as the possible next step. Then in assessment, we will include only the interview. That is how we can make the decision.
So for each these sub processes, we have to have at least two. One is to conduct the process, like review, and then the last one should be review decision, where we can move them.
Yes.
Now here we have a lot of assessment. We have these. We don't need all of these.
Yeah. So if we want a simple version, like we can only include interview. So from assessment, only interview stage would be the next possible stage.
Okay. But why they have mentioned all these here? Is it possible to skip the stage?
Yeah, definitely. So from assessment, if the decision has to be made, so all these would be the next possible stages. So the recruiter can quickly select offer or reference check. You can skip the interview. That would be possible. Or from reference check, if you'll see the next possible no. So from here, currently he can be moved forward only. But if I go to interview, he could be okay here also. Like they have included only the front ones. But over here, I can include the review as well. Like from phone screening, the person can go to the back as well. Like if some additional screening or anything is required. So see, review is also possible. He can be moved on to backstage as well. So I need to give the security go.
If during like say if we during the interview stage we assign the other next steps, reference check, offer, employment agreement, and then we don't have to configure all these processes individually.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, always.
Yes, we stop at reference check. We don't have to go to the next offer, employment agreement. We still have to define those with the processes now.
Yes, definitely. We have to. Because maybe for some other candidate in future, we would need offer. An offer is, very important step. So yeah, we have to.
So how is possible like to skip for some stages for some candidate and just follow the sequence for another candidate?
Okay.
We have one default definition, like we copy the default definition, but how we can configure two different type of steps within the same job application BP?
Okay, so for example, from review, You want to take him to the interview directly. You want to skip these stages. Okay.
Yes.
So recruiter will select the next possible step of interview over here. Okay. So directly the candidate would now be visible under this grid on the job requisition, if you have seen. Okay. And he would now be triggering the interview BP directly. From interview, if he performs well, he could be moved to offer as well directly. So in this case, reference check could be skipped. Okay. Um, and if let's suppose you want steps along with conditions, so that could also happen. That this will only be possible. This next step would only be possible from review uh, if the candidate was an internal candidate, like he was already part of organization, he was moving into some other department.
Okay.
Or he could be moved to offer only if from the evergreen requisition, like the linking is going on. So till offer, all the stages have been covered in the evergreen itself. Now we have to do the offer. So that is how the condition is put. This is a custom condition, okay, not workday owned.
Okay.
That is how customization is done.
And for the default definition will not change in this way, because this is now we are skipping some stage, but maybe for another candidate we want to follow the same sequence, so it doesn't affect, like for
So
each employee.
in client's tenant, we only have default definitions for job application. We'll only have default definition for phone screen assessment interview. There would be only one default definition generally for each of the business process type. And in those VPs, we can customize it. We can customize the steps, like it will trigger for some, it will not trigger for some, and we can put a condition on it. So that is how we can do the condition. Also, do you know about rule-based VP definition?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what happens? Let's suppose we want a completely different definition to trigger. Okay, but we don't want to create a separate VP other than the default definition. So what will happen? I'll go to this BP. This would also be possible for any other BP, okay? I'll go to the related actions. I'll go to the BP. And here comes the rule-based business process configuration. I'll click here. I'll click OK. Okay, so based on a rule, like let's suppose if the management level is 6 or 7, then we don't want the default definition to trigger. We want this particular definition to trigger. So that is how the rule-based BP definitions could be maintained. So in that case, we have to create the workflow definition here. Currently, I don't have the access to create, but we can. And creating rule is like creating any other condition rule, how we do it, no? That is the simple one.
So we can define the business process step here in this one.
Yeah, we can in the definition. The definition would be like another BP over here. But what will happen if we'll search for this BP? No, like it won't be visible as a separate record. Okay, it is included in the default definition itself.
Okay, based on the rule.
Based on the rule. So what will happen? Let's suppose job application BP is triggered, okay, and it has certain rule-based definitions also. So if those rules are met, Workday will first see that if I have to trigger those rule-based BPs, if any one of the condition meets, that particular definition will trigger. If none of them meets, then this default definition will trigger.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we went through interview BP, I think. Now let's look into reference check. It is also a very simple one only. Mhm. So in reference check also we have decision making step. Apart from this, we have add references. So reference check is basically like the candidate would provide to whom the company can contact for his basic details, like whether he mentioned the address correctly, his previous job history correctly, or any other schooling or college or anything. Okay. So add references step could be included and it will go to candidate. Then we can have review add references. So what will happen? It can go to recruiter. Recruiter can contact those references and review them. That okay, they are genuine. Like they can look into their government identifiers or anything like how they do it. They will have the process known. So that is how it could be done. So let me add one, two steps. One like we should add one more.
This job application BP can also be searched from the task. We don't have to go to the supervisory.
So supervisory, I am going to that supervisory because I'm creating it. But if you're searching, then you have to search in the search bar with BP prefix, and you can type in the name of the supog and all the BPs related to your supog can come. Or you can type in the name of exact BP. So that is it.
Okay.
Okay, it was an action step, an add reference. Review add references. And it should go to candidate as well. Okay, they have added recruiter. Fine. Maybe the recruiter like would ask the candidate to provide him the details, so he will make sure that those references are added. Also, I'm not checking the BP policy right now because it will take time. Otherwise, candidate it could go to candidate also.
Okay.
Okay. Then comes the next stage. So from reference, he could be moved to offer. So now let me look at the offer BP, which is like the most important one because here the offer generation occurs. Okay, so here it's a very basic one. I have seen for clients putting in 16, 17 steps. All of them are like very customized based on conditions. They are not very different, but these are the basic steps. So the first one is the employee compensation offer. So what will happen in the job profile? We'll have the compensation details. Okay, that job profile gets attached to job rec. So for that particular job rec, we will see whether the right compensation details are coming up from the comp package, like the comp grade and every other bonuses and everything. All those things are coming properly, and it would be taken care by the recruiter, manager, or anybody. So who's the initiator in this case? So initiator is the person who has triggered this BP. So like whosoever has moved in from reference check to offer, that would be the initiator for offer. Okay. Then comes the generate document step. This is majorly done by recruiter, and over here we'll select the documents tab, the documents. Okay, we'll see how it looks like. Then there's very good feature Workday provides where the candidate can review the documents, and if he doesn't like it or if there's any negotiation needed, he will see a send back button and it will go to the recruiter back. So most of the clients ask that how, if the negotiation is done, how the process will follow. Like it will start from scratch? No, it will not. It will just go back to the recruiter, just the previous step, and the recruiter will regenerate it and send it back. The candidate will review. If he finds it's okay, he will submit, and then the next step will trigger.
Okay.
Okay, so the next step is to one-time payment, then stock grant, and end is the offer decision. So again, one-time payment and stock grant, all those will trigger once the candidate accepts the offer. Okay, majorly. Like we don't trigger them with the offer letter mainly. We can do it, no issue on that, but it's a good practice to include it after the document is generated. And if I click on OK now, I'll see the button to configure the documents. See, so here is to configure or generate the document. So basically we are going to generate the template here. Okay, so I have already created one. Let me show you. Oh, okay, wait. This is the document I've created. So I'll just open it in edit view. So the task for that is simply create document. If we'll search in the Workday now, I'll just open it in edit mode. Okay, so I have to give the name, the category. So only once we attach the category, then that particular document is visible in the in the drop down option. Like the recruiter would be able to select only then. So we have to select the category, of course, like how, if you remember, for the questionnaire, we have seen one field, allowed business process, if you remember. So if we are putting in the allowed business process, only then the questionnaire would be visible in those PPAs. Similarly, we have to select the category, okay, so that this document is not available for any other categories. Like they should not be available for agencies or assessments or certifications or license. They are only for offers. Then here I've put in the description. So this is the type I've selected. So other than template, we have two other types. One is the attachment. So if you're selecting the attachment, so in that case, a Word doc could be attached by the recruiter and given to the candidate simply. Okay. So the Word doc or the PDF or whatever it is. Okay. Maybe it could be a case there won't be any signing option also available. Like how we add the signature in PDF, no, only that possible option is available. So it is very outdated. That's why we don't go with the attachment, because we don't want recruiter to go manually and then like look into the candidate name and edit it and then send it. No, we want Workday automatically to generate the standardized offer in the format and just prepare it for us. The second type is the link. So in link, what will happen? A link will go to candidate. He will click on that link and then he'll see the document and he'll put a signature, any acceptance or any checkbox if it is included, and he'll close that link. So that is how he'll see the offer and he'll accept it. But in the template, what we are going to do, we are going to create the text blocks. Okay. And this is the most used one. So we have the text block, introduction, body, sign on, payment, conclusion. So introduction, body, and conclusion will be visible to each and every candidate, whether it's internal, external, and from whichever portal he has come, it doesn't matter. But this sign-on payment, it would only be visible only if the candidate is applicable for the sign-on bonus. Like during his recruitment process, in his job profile, it was already mentioned, or in the comp package, it was already mentioned that these candidates of these job profile would be getting a sign-on bonus. So only those particular candidates would be able to see this particular text block. Okay, and the second tab is for the layout. So this is done by the integration and reporting team. Okay, and it works on how the logo, format of the offer letter, everything will look like. Okay, so if I open this layout now, so it has a report designer kind of an attachment. So it is created by integration team using Bot and Studio. I have the steps for it, but it is taken care by the integration team. We consultants are not, we should not care about it. Yes, but we have to talk to them and provide them with the logo and the format which the client has told us. Or we have to include in the discussion client, integration, and consultant all. So this is the report design. And if I click on this report design and open this logo and open this word, so it has a different format. Okay. So this is created by integration. We don't know how to even read it. So this is about layout. Coming back to text block. So I'll just show you the text block in the new tab. So if I edit it, so see here, it is simple to how we have created the email template or message template, or even these two majorly we have created. So there also you saw the body content section.
Yeah.
So we have the static statements, and we can, sorry, let me cancel it. Yeah, we have the static and the dynamic. So Workday will automatically fetch the candidate's compensation, current compensation from his job profile, his first name, last name. So this is like the work has been done by the Workday itself. Then the body, okay.
Or the complete template will be already generated. We just have to attach it here, right? You don't have to create each time.
So we have to create the text blocks, of course, and then we'll simply attach this document, okay, this particular document, standard offer letter, and all these details in the text blocks would be fetched from Workday automatically. Okay, and in the offer letter, which would be generated for that particular candidate, these details will pre-populate. Workday will do the calculation.
Okay.
But we are responsible for creating the text blocks in the document. Okay, and even the text blocks could also be reused. Okay, but they should have a common source, like it should be offer. So only offer related text blocks which were created previously by some other consultant, so it can be reused as well. Okay. So I'll just click on OK. Okay, and done. That's it. And if I click on done also again, no? I don't know why this BP prefix is not working. So I'm just putting in the name of support, and I'll see all the processes related to it. So till now we have created this. Okay, so if I go to offer now, so if I would have not put in any document here, no, means I have not generated anything. Workday will give me an error that you have to configure here as well when you're configuring your BP. So if I click on it, I'll see the document attached.
Yeah.
It is attached already. And I'll just click on. And now I have to attach this document in this step, which will go to the candidate, and he will review it.
Okay.
So I have to make sure when I'm creating the BP, these should be configured as well. So this document would be effective from this particular moment. Then we have the integration type e-sign by DocuSign. Okay, so integration is needed. Then if I scroll down, so this document is selected. I want to change it with standard one. That's it. If in the any instruction we want to give to the candidate, we could do it. Okay, and that's it. And this attachment option is like, do we definitely need that the candidate to e-sign and then attach? So generally, yes, we should always make it required. But in this system, integration is not done. That's why I think these options are grayed out. That's why candidate won't be able to e-sign. So you can see here the message also. For steps configured with an e-signature integration type, the completed e-sign documents are the only uploaded attachment permitted on the steps. So a person would only be able to attach the e-signed document type. He won't be able to attach a PDF or doc or any other Excel file, nothing. He would only be able to attach. That's why this is grayed out, because integration is not yet completed. I'll just click on OK. Okay. After that, we have the simple ones, request one-time payment offer. So these would be like triggered by recruiter, like he would set the one-time payment offer related actions. Then if there's any stock grant also given, and at the end make offer decision. So manager will decide that, okay, all the processes were done properly, the candidate accepted it, and we are okay to go forward. Then this decision would be made. Okay. Then comes the next stage of employment agreement. So employment agreement is something which also includes a lot of documents, but we don't configure how we configured it for offer. It relates to the terms and conditions and policies of the company. So I'll just click on create. And I need to type in employment agreement. So here, you can see action steps like initiate pre-hire contract, collective agreements, probation period, employment agreement, and these two are also available here. Stock grant is also available here. Then notice period. So notice period is taken care by the HCM people majorly. Okay. At the end, we have agreement decision. So it will be done by the HR part. So this is how employment agreement looks like. Then the last is the background check. So we can also even change the sequence of these stages. Like if we want background check to come before offer, we can do that as well. If you remember the edit and setup HCM or edit and setup recruitment task, at the bottom, we were able to shift upward, downward these stages.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to the last PP and create it. So so here at the bottom, we'll see again the overall status and the decision. So what happened? Background check is also done by third party majorly. So they can provide us with their statuses, what they have given as the decision. Like third party can give us the decision, what was the status of the candidate, and we can just load it in bulk. And here you can see the integration type also. If we need any integration to be involved, so we have to include it like this. So with this, we end with the BP configuration, but tomorrow we'll be doing the end-to-end testing, a rough end-to-end testing. So I would want you to create your support, 2-3 job recs, and your job application and sub processes for your support. Because I would like to do end-to-end testing on your configuration. I'll see what you have done and I'll look into the role assignments and everything. And then we'll initiate, like we'll create a candidate and make him move across the job application processes. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Any other doubt?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Most of the time we get this ticket that recruiter is not able to move them to the next stage. Sometimes they skip a task and then they cannot move the candidate from offer letter, offer to the higher stage. Most of the time they get this error.
Okay, if we cannot be moved, you have to check the next possible steps of your job application BP. Definitely. And you have to also look into those static BPs, that the steps which you have skipped, like you have made them optional, whether they should be optional or they should not be optional. And also if those sub stages have their end step as decision making steps or not.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I can't talk too much. So one more thing, this job requisition is mostly we create on position. We have to have a position to create a job rec. But how about for the job management staffing model? For that, we have the same thing. We have to set up the hiring restrictions and.
So for job management, Workday will not ask us for the positions, but yes, we can only include job management only if the hiring restrictions are set on those supports. And yes, then we can create the like the job posting titles, and we can create the number of openings, but no need of creating positions.
Okay, so job management also can use we have to for job rec, it can be used for job management because
absolutely. But the positions won't be created in that case. So in job management, we have virtual positions, right? If you remember.
Yes.
Virtual positions. So only those kind of positions will be created. Like if a person, let's suppose, is hired through job management, so he will be hired at a virtual position. It won't be an actual position.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get that concept again. The virtual position, but like we have to create position, we can create 4 or 5 position, and then we can create job.
So in job management, what happens? We don't go into create position task, and we don't create. No, automatically, what will happen? A position title would be given. Like for example, if you're doing bulk hiring for campus, okay, so we just define the number of openings. So in job rec, we'll just define for analyst position, these are the number of openings. But once he comes into the system, no, he will definitely have a designation attached. Okay, he might not have a position, but he will have a designation. So that designation is like the virtual position, you can see. It is not the actual one, but it was created to make it feel that, okay, they are hired at a particular position.
Okay.
But that designation, that title will come from the job requisition itself. We are putting
Okay.
here, if you remember, job title in the second
Yes.
section, job
Yes.
details. So that would be the title.
Yes. Yes. And one more thing, like remember I asked you if we want to add one more reason in a job rec, and we want to skip the business process, only couple of 2, 3 initiation and couple of steps we want to add. But we have a default definition which goes through all the business process trigger when we have, create a job rec. But if we want to add a special reason and to bypass all the steps, how can we do that? I think it's in BP job rec, not in this one,
Okay,
but
so what will happen? We'll create a condition rule, okay, on our BPs. BP could be job rec or job application, and we'll put a condition that if this particular reason was selected, then it could be optional. The step could be optional. We can do that. Or if this was not selected, then this step would not trigger. Like if reason was not selected as this reason, then this step would not occur. So automatically it will not be there in the inbox.